All right, textbooks open to page 55. You did numbers 25 through 50 for your homework last night. As we wrap up this section on fractions, we've talked about making fractions smaller. How do we make fractions smaller? Class, what's that word? Reduce. And the key to reducing is to look in the numerator, look in the denominator, and ask ourselves, what can we, Sam, how do we, but when we reduce, for instance, if we look at, something like 10/25, we look at the fraction, hush, and we look and say, what can I divide out of the top and bottom? By the way, what do we call the top, class?
Numerator.
What do we call the bottom?
Denominator.
And what do I divide out of the numerator and denominator? And this would, of course, reduce down to what?
2 over 5.
Well, I was asking Sam, but yes, you are right, Kirsten, 2/5 is correct. So we reduce. By the way, this fraction and this fraction, both of them, have a smaller numerator than denominator. So class, both of these would be called proper fractions. If someone was something like a 5/2, that class, that would be an improper fraction. And we talked about changing improper fractions. We said we should just remember that the fraction bar actually tells us to do what, class? Divide. And so we'd say, how many times does 2 go into 5, class? Twice, with how many left? Once, and we would make that additional fraction, thereby changing the improper fraction into something, class, called a mixed number. And if I wanted to go the other direction, let's say I wanted to get the 5/2, I would have to do what with these two numbers, class? And then I'd need to add the numerator. Of course, we keep the original 2, and that's where we get 2 times 2, 4 plus 1 is 5. So we talked about all of that. And then we talked about making equivalent fractions. We said if I had something like 3/7 and I wanted a denominator of, say, 21, well, instead of dividing to make the fraction smaller, reducing the fraction, I say, what do I do to a 7 to turn it into a 21, Jalen?
Multiply.
By 3. And then what you do to the bottom, class?
Got to
Got to do to the top. And so we multiply that by 3 as well, class, to get 9/21 for my equivalent fraction. We talked about all of that. And then we started talking about adding and subtracting fractions. And we said in order to add or subtract fractions, class, you have to have a common denominator. And we used that process to get that common denominator. From there, we talked about multiplying fractions. Do we need a common denominator? Multiply. No, but we can't multiply mixed numbers. Remember, we said we have to change mixed numbers into improper fractions. And rather than just multiply across the top and multiply across the bottom, which is technically what we should do, we said we can save ourselves some work. We can multiply littler numbers if we see things that can cancel, things that can divide. What's that process called? When we knock something out of this numerator with one of the denominators, make it a little bit smaller before we actually do the multiplying, Kirsten. Canceling. We said we could cancel some stuff. Numerator with denominator. 2 numerators can cancel, class? No, never. What about denominators? No, can't cancel those. And then we talked about dividing fractions yesterday, and Jalen was out for this. Welcome back. But we said to divide fractions, we don't really do that. Instead of dividing fractions, class, what do? We multiply by the reciprocal. So we keep the first fraction the same, then we change our division sign to a multiplication sign and flip it, right? We just flip the fraction. That's what reciprocal means. And then yesterday we also looked at a fraction that had, like, for instance, it was like a fraction with fractions in it. What do we call a fraction with fractions in it? Luciana? A complex fraction. I believe that was new this year. That was the consensus, that we hadn't seen this before. But I said it's really no different than a, what, class? Division problem. Because that's what this fraction bar means, is divide. It literally means the same as if you said 2/5 divided by 3/7. And we don't do either one of those because we don't divide fractions, class. We multiply by the reciprocal. So when I see either one of these problems, that's not what I would copy down. That's not what I'm going to work. Instead, Griffin, I'm going to make it say, in either case,
2/5 times 3/7.
Oh, no.
7/3.
7/3. There we go. Make it the reciprocal. Can I cancel anything, class?
No.
What a shame. So I just have to multiply across the top and across the bottom.
15.
Hey, it came out proper. What if it had come out improper? What would I have to do with it? Make it a mixed number. Let's take a look at the homework. Before we do, Michael, you had a question earlier? Okay. Number 25, what'd you get for your answer, Corey?
3/15.
But that reduces.
1/5.
1/5 is our answer. Number 26, what did you get, Elaine?
1 3/7.
1 3/7. Number 27, Bryson.
6/7.
6/7. Number 28, Paige.
1/9.
Good. 1/9. Number 29, Michael.
4.
4 is correct. Number 30, what did you get then?
3 and 1/3.
3 1/3 is correct. Number 31, what did you have, Luciana?
6 and 5 12.
6 and 5/12. Number 32, Sam. Are you having trouble reading it, or is your right too sloppy, or is it too much work, or clumpy? Okay, we can't quite see what we have there. Help him, Griffin. What did you get on number 32?
I accidentally missed that one.
Missed that one, Kirsten.
2 and 14 15.
Great job, and read perfectly. 2 and 14 15. Make sure we're working neatly. Number 33, let's come back to Sam for redemption.
1.
Ooh, it doesn't come out evenly to 1. Though, class, I did tell you it is possible in a multiplication or division, which we changed to multiplication anyway, problem, that you could get 1 for the answer. When will you get a 1?
On both or 3.
If everything cancels. When we do the cancellation stuff, and I don't have it pictured up there, but if everything cancels away, you get a 1. But it's not 1. Let's come to Griffin for redemption.
Wait,
Number 33, Griffin. Pay attention.
2.
We need to make sure we are working neatly so that we can read our own writing. That's actually the answer to that one. So you got yourself a little bit mixed up there. Paige?
1/2.
1/2 is our answer. We kind of hit a stall here. All right, let's see if we can rebound here. Number 34, third tries the charm. Sam, what'd you get when you divided?
I got
11 15. It's number 35. What did you get, Griffin, when you divided?
35, 3.
3 is correct. Number 36, what did you get, Corey?
9/16.
9/16. Number 37, Jalen.
37. I got 1 and 1/8. No, that's the wrong one. 1/39 over 65.
Okay, all right, you're not actually entirely wrong. She said she had 1 and 39/65. How many had that same answer? Did anyone see something that could have canceled out of 39 and 65? It's subtle. This isn't something we memorized in elementary school, Ben.
39.
No, there's not 39 in there, Michael.
Is it 13?
It's 13. So we could get 1 and 3/5. Let's look at the original problem here. So we end up with a 26/5. And when we multiply by the reciprocal, we flip our 13 fourths to get 4/13. I think it's easier to see if you can see it here. The 13 and the 26 can cancel to give you a 1 and 2, and that'll give you 8/5. Because I think the 13 and the 26 are more easily seen as far as the 13. So 8/5 becomes the 1 and 3/5. But you're not entirely wrong with this. It just means you didn't see the 13s that canceled earlier. Number 38. Let's come back to Jalen. What did you get on 38?
38. 11 twelfths times 3
Halves.
seconds.
Right, and then when you multiply that out, what'd you get for the answer? Or did you just leave it in the multiplied state?
33 3/4.
Right, which can reduce by 3 to get... Now, admittedly, to her credit, by the way, for those watching on video, like, she's usually smarter than... She missed yesterday, she still tackled the homework, so props to her. So I'm not upset at all here. Just trying to see where she was at with her self-teaching here. So you said you got 33 24ths, Jalen, and that's not wrong, but we could do a little canceling to help ourselves out here first.
4.
And technically 1, so we get 11/8, which becomes
1 and 3/8.
1 and 3/8, our answer there. How about number 39? What did you get, Michael? 1/16. Number 40, Kirsten.
40, 2018.
Well, you're not wrong. 20/18 is okay, but there's we could take a 2 out of top and bottom, couldn't we? To get,
1 and 2/18.
well, we could do that as well. We could go with that first, and then we could reduce because we could take a 2 out of the top and bottom to get 1 and...
1 and 1/9.
There we go. That's the final answer. 1 and 1/9. Just make sure we simplify all the way down. Number 41, Ben.
56.
No. What'd you get, Elaine?
1 3/5.
1 3/5. Let's take a look at that one, Ben. You had a 70/10 over, what does that fraction bar mean, class? Divided by 35/8. But we don't really divide, Ben. We multiply by the...
Reciprocal.
So I'm not going to write down 70/10 over 35/8. I'm going to write down 70/10 times
8 over 35.
8/35. Now there's a really easy canceling play here, Ben. 70 and 10 can cancel to give me...
7 and 1.
And by the way, the easiest way to do it is just to knock off the zeros, isn't it? But went and showed it this way, 7 and 1. And of course the 7 and 35 can cancel to give me...
1 and 5.
I think you did this one. I think maybe you missed the 7 and 5. I'm not sure. Anyway, when we multiply across, 1 times 8 is...
8.
And 1 times 5 is...
5.
And then that's where we make this the mixed number 1 and 3/5. Let's see, number 42, Griffin.
24.
24. Number 43, Paige.
14.
Number 44, Sam.
2/3.
Ooh, no, it's 2/3 over 16. Bryson, what'd you get for 44?
124.
124. So here, Sam, we had a 2/3, and it said it was over 16. Again, this fraction bar means divided by 16. So we're not going to divide. We're going to multiply by the... Now here's the question. What's the reciprocal of 16? Good, 1 over 16. We can do a little bit of canceling here to get a 1 and 8, and that's where you get the 1/24. Let's see, number 45, Luciana. 5/12 is correct. Let me stop here before we go to the word problems. Are there any questions on 25 to 45? Multiplying, dividing, and complex fractions, which is basically more dividing. Any questions? Was anyone perfect on all 21 of those? That's a tall task. Corey, really? Wow. All right, anyone just missed 1 or 2? Just missed 1 or 2. Several of you. Good. All right, questions at all? I know we went over some of them already on the board. Are there other questions? Ben, is that a hand? Question? No, okay. Let's take a look at the word problems then. Number 46. Yes, sir. You want to read? Go ahead and read number 46 for us, Bryson.
The factor statement 1/14 of the day studying for is final exam. How many hours did you study?
All right, now there's a key word in there. Right after the fraction, it says 1/14 of. And I told you yesterday, when it comes to fractions, we need to remember that the word of means multiply. So there should be no question what we need to do. We need to multiply 1/4 times a day. Or 1/14 rather, times a day. But it asks how many hours. So what do I need to remember from years gone by here, Bryson, about a day and hours? No, an hour's not 24 days. Flip that around.
I mean, like 7 days. 24.
A day is...
7 people.
Oh, class help him. A day is 24 hours, right? There's 24 hours in a day. That's what he was trying to say. So we need to take the 1/14 of or times, not 1 day, but we're going to write it how, Bryson?
7 and 24.
24 hours. Just that. 1 day, 24 hours, that's it. I know there's 7 days in a week. We don't care about that right now. All we care about is the 24 hours in the day. But I do need to put it, class, over 1. And I can do a little bit of canceling here, Bryson.
1. No, 2. No, wait. I'm messing up right now.
It's Friday. It's okay. I messed up something earlier in the last class, and I was like pointing to an absolute value, and I literally pointed at it and said square root. So like, they look so much alike. Anyway, so no judging here. What can I cancel out of the 14 and 24, Bryson?
No,
I wish. 2. To get
7,
and
12.
12, and we multiply straight across. We just get
12, 7.
12/7 hours. But that sounds weird. I studied for 12/7 hours. Like, that just sounds weird. Let's make it a mixed number now, Bryson.
1 and 5 seconds.
1 and 5/7 hours, which still sounds a little weird, but it's not as weird as 12/7. How many are 1 and 5/7 hours? Number 70 or 47, read that for us. Do you have a question or you want to read it?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Were you supposed to for the 5 seconds, we weren't supposed to break it down into minutes?
They didn't ask you to. They just said how many hours. Did you do that? You tried to break it down into minutes and multiply by 60? You got 307s, which would be, oh goodness, 40, almost 43 minutes. So about approximately an hour and 43 minutes? Or did you break that down into seconds too? An hour, 42 minutes, and however many seconds? You didn't do that? All right. Question or want to read it? Want to read it? You also want to read it? Sorry, Hennifer. Sorry, Elaine. Jalen, read number 47 for us.
Nitrogen makes up approximately 3/4 of the Earth's atmosphere, and oxygen makes up about 1/5 of the atmosphere. How much of the atmosphere is made up of nitrogen and oxygen together?
How many of you get distracted when you're in study hall and you already knew this because you were listening to my physics class while you were in the back? Yeah, okay. So anyway, good. I'm not going to be offended by that. All right, so it says how much is made up of nitrogen and oxygen together. So Jalen, what do we got to do?
We have to add.
Add what?
Add 3/4 and 1/5.
Add the 3/4 nitrogen and 1/5 oxygen per class. We can't add these without a...
Common denominator.
And what is the common denominator 4 and 5?
20.
20. So we're going to rewrite each of these with 20ths. And of course here that means class we need to multiply top and bottom by 5. So we're going to get 15 here, multiply top and bottom by 4 to get 4. And when we add 15 20ths and 4 20ths, what was your answer?
I got 19 20 somehow.
19 20ths is the correct answer. Because 4 15ths or 15 plus 20ths plus 4 20ths is 19 20ths. Yep. All right, it's Friday. 19 20ths. How many also had 19 20ths of the atmosphere composed of those two gases, nitrogen and oxygen? All right, number 48. What'd you get when you added all those fractions together there, Paige?
20 over 15.
Okay, you're not wrong, but we can't stop there. 20 15ths needs to change to 4/3, which needs to change to
1 and 1/3.
1 and 1/3. There we go. There's our final answer. 1 and 1/3. How many have 1 and 1/3 for number 48? Number 49. What did you get, Griffin?
4/14.
Okay, but again, we're stopping too early on these things. We can't stop at 4/14. We got to clean it up a little bit, make it smaller.
2 7.
2 7s. How many have 2 7s for number 49? And number 50. What did you get for your answer, Ben?
I didn't get that one.
Didn't get to that one. Well, let's do it now by all means. Let's subtract 9/10 minus 3/4, except you can't subtract it out that way anyway. What do we need, Ben?
To
Get a.
common denominator.
And what's the common denominator?
40.
You could use 40, but I'm lazy. I don't want to have to reduce later. 20 is a better number to use. So we multiply top and bottom by
2.
to get.
18.
And what number will go in the top here?
15.
15. And so when we subtract, we get 18 minus 15?
3.
3. And then what do we do with the 20s? Do we subtract them to get 0?
No.
No, we just keep it to get
3 over 20.
320. It's only 320. It's for number 50. Questions all on the homework. Look across the page then, if you would, please. Look across the page. And we were working on some word problems yesterday with cranberry nut bread made with orange juice. And yeah, it's the top of page 54. If you're listening to what I just said. Top of page 54. And then we also had Ashley. She made some money. Remember, the government took a whole bunch of taxes out. And then she gave 2/5 of the leftovers to a missionary family. It's Lord impressed on her to do. Let's look at number 68 now. And we don't have anybody named Nicholas in here. Let's see. But Elaine wanted to read one earlier, so we'll have Elaine read about Nicholas and his sweet tea.
Nicholas uses 1 3/4 teaspoons of sugar to make 1 cup of sweet tea. How much sugar should he use to make 6 cups of sweet tea?
All right. How many like sweet tea? Anyone in here not like sweet tea? All right, I'm actually with you. I'm not originally a Southerner, and I don't know. I tried to like it. I dated a Georgia girl for a couple years in college, and I loved her enough that I wanted to learn to like sweet tea. So I tried. I really did. I tried to like it. I don't like sweet tea. I don't like coffee either. I don't like unsweet tea. So I just know tea and coffee just not my thing. Hot chocolate, that I like. Apple cider, I'll drink that. But the tea and the coffee stuff is like, I don't know. Anyway, but Nicholas is with most of you Southern folks. He likes sweet tea. 1 cup takes 1 3/4 teaspoons, but he wants to make 6 cups of sweet tea. What do we need to do here, Elaine?
Multiply.
Multiply what?
1 3/4 times 6.
Good. The 1 3/4 needed for each cup times the 6 cups he plans to make. At your seats, find out how much sugar he is going to need in his sweet tea. Or as y'all say down here, sweet tea.
Sweet tea. That's not how
I don't know.
Sweet.
I don't remember who it was. I had somebody in my class one time, sweet tea. Like and they were serious too. They weren't even faking it. Like they were actually serious. Anyway, I enjoyed picking on them that year. All right, what did you get for your answer, Corey?
10 and 1/2
10 and a half.
cups.
Oh, not cups. Oh, goodness gracious, that's a whole lot of sugar. Not 10 and a half cups of sugar. Remember, it's 1 3/4 teaspoons for each cup. So our answer should be
10 and 1/2 teaspoons.
10 and a half teaspoons. Now, to Michael's question yesterday, do we need to say teaspoons? Yes, because look at the question. It doesn't say how many teaspoons should he use. It just says how much sugar. So we definitely have to use the units here, right? Because we're not wanting cups of sugar, just teaspoons. 10 and a half teaspoons of sugar. Yes, ma'am.
Would you take off points if you didn't have to put like the measurement?
No. And that's what I said yesterday. When in doubt, just put the unit. That way you don't have to worry about it. But yeah. All right, number 69. Read that for us if you would, Paige.
A 1/2 bag of chocolate candies will be divided equally among 6 students. What part of the entire bag of chocolate candies will each student receive?
All right, so we're starting out with half a bag of chocolate, and there's 6 kids that are going to share this half a bag of chocolate. What are we going to need to do to figure this out?
Multiply?
Ooh, no, we're not multiplying. It's not each kid gets a half a bag of chocolate. There's only half a bag of chocolate, and it's got to be divided equally among 6 students. What do we need to do? Divide. What by what?
6 and 1/2. 1/2.
What's divided by what here? It says there's a half a bag divided among 6 students. So I need to put
1/2.
divided by 6. Of course, we know we're not really going to divide. By the way, how many think of this? 1/2 divided by the 6? We're not going to actually leave the problem like this. We're going to change it, Paige. We're going to make it say,
1/2 times 1/6.
there we go. We can do this in our head easily, Paige. We get
1/12.
1/12. And it says what part of the entire bag? So this is the answer, 1/12. How many had the 1/12 already? All right, questions on that. Flip over to page 58. Flip over a few pages, page 58. Do the review section, 16 to 21. Page 58, do the review section, 16 to 21. Good overall review of the different things we've talked about with fractions here in the last several lessons. Once you finish, put your pencil down and stand beside your desk. Once you finish, pencil down and stand beside your desk. people have finished. About 2 more minutes. Once you finish, pencil down and stand beside your desk. One more minute. You ready for the endurance run? All right, pencils down. Even if you're not finished with everything, let me just make sure I've got the order right. I've got Elaine, Michael right behind her, Luciana, Bryson, Ben, and Corey. All right, have a seat. And we're going to start with Elaine. We're going to see if she has all the correct answers. If she screws it up, we're going to go to Michael. But you've got to be checking your answers as well. And we'll see if you have, who was the first one done with all the right answers. Elaine, you get first crack at it. 16A, what is that?
Mix.
Mixed number. Letter B.
Improper.
Improper fraction. Letter C.
Proper.
Proper fraction, though not reduced. All right, number 17, reducing two lowest terms. We went ahead and reduced that 27/81 to get.
1/3.
Then for 18/63.
2/7.
And for letter C.
3/53.
There we go. So we've got, real quick, let me say those again. 1/3, 2/7, and 3/53. Number 18, making improper fractions. Letter A you had.
31/4.
Good, 31/4. And letter B.
17/5.
17/5 is correct. Great job. Number 19, you were multiplying. What'd you get for letter A?
3 8/9.
3 8/9 is correct. Letter B?
2 25.
2 25 is correct. And letter C?
2 1/3.
2 1/3. How many are still perfect right along with her? You're still perfect right along with her. Then everyone else has fallen. Corey, you still are? All right. Got a couple people still in there, but Elaine is still in control here. Number 20, you had to divide. Letter A you got?
3/5.
3/5 is right. Letter B?
1/4.
1/4 is correct. Letter C?
6 25.
6 25 is correct. Great job. All right, 3 more to go. Letter A?
15.
15. Good. Letter B?
16.
16 is correct. And letter C?
1/20.
1/20. She did it. She made it all the way through. Anyone else? All the way through, just not quite as fast. All right. Corey did. All right, how many just missed one of the ones you did? Of the ones you did, you only missed one. How many just missed 2 of the ones you did? All right, 3 of the ones you did. All right, questions. Which ones do we need to see worked out? Questions. Going once. Yes, ma'am.
19B.
19B, we had a 2/7 times a 14/15 times a 3/10. This was interesting because they gave us 3 fractions in a row, right? But here's the key, class. You can cancel any numerator with any denominator. Meaning I could cancel this 2 with this 10. They don't have to be next to each other. One's in the top, one's in the bottom. 2 and 10, class, cancel to give me 1 and 5. I could cancel the 7 with the
14.
to get
1, 2,
1 and 2. I could cancel the 3 and the 15.
1, 1
And can I cancel the 5s with each other?
No.
No, they're both denominators. So just multiply across the top. There's the 2 across the bottom. There's the 25. Does that make sense? All right. Good. Any other questions? Any others we need to see worked out or have explained? All right, let's take a quiz. Clear your desk, except for a clean sheet of paper and a pencil. You know this well. You just did great. So this should be an exciting moment. It's like, yes, I get a chance to show off. All right, so clear your desk, except for a clean sheet of paper and a pencil and an eraser. Make sure water bottles, by the way, stay off to the side of your desk and don't get knocked down, that kind of thing. There needs to be no noises back there then. Sit still and quietly and get yourself ready for this quiz. All right, desk clear except for a clean sheet of paper, pencil. Quickly, move quickly. Get books off your desk, slide them underneath, one in the book rack, or underneath the desk. If the binder doesn't fit in the book rack, you put it under the desk. There we go. All right, pencil pouch, and water bottles. Still see stuff out on your desk, Michael, quickly moving all that stuff aside. This is quiz 4A that we'll be taking. Quiz 4A. When you get your quiz, put your first and last name in the name spot. If you're passing back there page, first and last name in the name spot and today's date in the date spot. First and last name in the name spot, today's date in the date spot. Today is 9/15/23 as we record it. 9/15/23. Now, what is the blank paper for, class?
Cover sheet.
Cover sheet. Use your cover sheet. Keep your answers covered as you go. Look carefully with me at numbers 1 through 5. Note what it says in the directions. If the statement is true, write true in the blank. But if it is false, we don't write false. Instead, you're going to replace the underlined word with a word that will make the statement true. So don't write false for 1 through 5. Number 6 through 10, follow the directions, and then 11 through 15, find those answers. Use your cover sheet. You may begin. If you feel like on a particular question there's more than one correct answer, just put one of them. You don't need to put all the correct answers unless you want to. Because there is one question where you could put a couple different things. I will take either. You don't have to have both. Example, I decide what to say. And as always, general quiz or test taking tip, don't ever get stuck on something. If you're not quite sure, move on, come back to it later. Continue working on your quizzes. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to go to end the video here. We've got something special going on today where this is going to be the end of the lesson as far as you're concerned. So if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and pause the video so you can get the homework assignment from the front board. The rest of you, you can copy down after we're done with the quiz. Take your time. Keep working.